LinkedIn for Breakfast. Fantastic to have you here. This is a place every single week that we go deep on one slice of the wonderful world of LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network. And we kind of want to do this in a way that we're trying to create something that is of real value, that really serves you, that really helps you to be able to actually take steps forward. So, what I'm going to show you today is going to be practical advice. I'm going to be going through it step by step. Yes, some of it might be like drinking from the fire hose, but other parts of it might be going, well, actually, that's really cool. And I think sometimes you just have to see it first if you've never seen this thing before and absorb. But if you're seeing it again or you've had a play with it before, then this might also be great for you to be able to look at it in more detail. And what am I even bloody talking about? I'm talking about Sales Navigator. I'm talking about the upgrade of LinkedIn, the upsell that LinkedIn puts in there, and the reason why you should use it, why you shouldn't use it, and who really should be investing the sort of 60, 70, maybe even £80 per month for it. So that's the investment in it. So what I call an annoying amount of money. It's like that, just a little bit more than it's kind of like pay for it and forget about it. It's just you have to justify it, don't you? It's like that kind of level that you kind of have to justify that subscription. So let me help you justify it today and see what your thoughts are. I have no bias. I do pay for it, but if you use it, great. If you don't, great. No worries. But at least we saw it today. Cool. So why would we use Sales Navigator? Well, the problem that LinkedIn or that you might find on LinkedIn is finding people on LinkedIn. So if you're trying to actually go and target and use LinkedIn for lead generation, for marketing, you will want to be able to search for people and find them. And LinkedIn does provide a really nice search box. So if I'm wanting to go and find business coaches, um, coach, let's go that way. Business coach. I can go just type in business coach like this, and then the basic LinkedIn allows me to go and look at these all filters here. And then I can go, well, actually, I don't want people that connected with me already. Let's have people that are my second degree connection, and let's have people that are my third degree connection. So basically, anybody that's not connected with me. Let's go and have people in the United Kingdom. Great. And then let's go and actually maybe look down industry sector, and there is a business coaching and services in here. So not only am I going for business coaching, but I can also kind of tick a few of these industries. And so it's going to narrow it. So hopefully I'm not going to get sports coaches and netball coaches or whatever it is that's coming in here. And maybe their profile language, I can make them English, which by the way is super useful if you're trying to target, say, expats in Spain. Love that feature because that works really, really nicely if we're trying to target, say, business coaches in Spain, and you just flick the profile language as English, and bam, you suddenly got the expats in there. That's been a good one for us. So it's a little side tip for anybody that wants to work on that. And then you can have a look at these service categories. You can see here, look, business consulting. To be honest, this is where it gets a bit more niche than I would need. You can go more niche than that. But that's pretty much all you can play with. You can look at things like past company or which school they went to, if you feel that's relevant, what their current company is. That's a little bit more relevant if you're going into corporates and you want to find decision makers within corporates. You can go a little bit more sniper and laser targeted on those. So you can see that there's quite a few options that you get on the free version of LinkedIn, which is great, right? So let's go show results. And so we're now going to be given a list of results. Now, LinkedIn used to be brilliant because they used to say, hey, showing you 1,200 results here. But now it doesn't even tell you how many results that you've got. It's just going to serve up some results with 100 odd pages, of which I can guarantee you now, not all of them are going to be perfect business coaches because the further you get through those pages, the more abstract it gets in terms of the search criteria. But I would argue that the first people here, so Paul here, he's a current business coach at Sussex Business Growth. Great, that seems good. He's currently associate business coach at Genius Within, CIC. Cool, right? So we're starting to see some nice levels of coaching here. Now, the thing that we don't have here is I suppose actually we could also, no, that's actively hiring. Just thinking, we go, well, actually, we can't find out if they're the owner of the business coaching. So what we can do is then we can go a little bit more ninja and use some Bojian, the guy that invented ones and zeros, basically, type of coding. So we can go business coach. So it's this and that, or we can go this, not that, with a minus, but I can go this plus founder, right? And the hope is that this is now going to give us the business coaches and founders within these criteria that we've got, right? And this should, here we go, founder, right? And then we've got a business coach, etc., marketing consultant, author, founder in there. So you can start to see now that we're searching for the business coach and the founder, and we've got those criteria. So by using a few of those, we can do it. Or we can say business coach minus I don't know. What are we gonna say here? Minus. It's a bit difficult with business coaches. Most of them are one man bands, but minus. I don't know. Sales, something like that, right? So I can actually say I want all the business coaches, but I don't want the people that are within the sales team of it. And so that's a little bit more abstract in this example. But for example, if you went for you were looking for senior leaders, but you didn't want the financial director, you could go director minus FD or something along those lines. So you can do this kind of I want this, but I don't want that part. And that these are the kind of levers that you can press with this. And you can do, if you want, you can also do it the other way around where you go business coach and like this, founder, which works as well. So this is me teaching you how to kind of, and this will give you the same example. And if you want to go not, you just do the same with not. It needs to be capitals, by the way, guys. And this would then give you a separate search results, right? So why is this useful? Well, if you don't go for Sales Navigator today, hopefully I've just shown you some cool ways to be able to get into your target audience a little bit better. And of course, if you are running LinkedIn campaigns, now what we can do is actually start to go and connect and message and update and be amongst these people's worlds, right? So that's super important. But the problem being is what if I wanted to work with business coaching organizations and I was an HR consultant who had over 50 staff, right? Because I'm an HR consultant, there's no point me selling to someone who's a one man band because nobody's going to buy HR work as a one man band. Or what if I wanted to sell into larger companies and I wanted to sell a software that does something to do with headcount or employee engagement or employee welfare? I'm going to want to know how many staff they've got. Or what if I'm an accountant and I want to sell into a business that has over 1 million in revenue? Then I'm not going to be able to know because there is no search criteria for saying I want to only look at businesses that are over 1 million in revenue, or I only want to work with businesses over 50 headcount. And so that then starts to crumble. These searches start to crumble within the normal LinkedIn, right? That's problem number one, deeper searches. Problem number two, my pedigree chums, is also the feed, right? The feed. And with have you scrolled recently? Have you doom scrolled your own LinkedIn and actually looked at what you're getting served up, right? So if we kind of show you your current LinkedIn, right? So I've got a nice post here from my first degree connection, and it's her posting, right? So my first one that I get served up is a nice post from someone who is I'm connected with. The next one is an ad from Google Workspace, right? So this is the second post. So 50% is ad so far, right? So my Google Workspace. So Google's trying to sell me something, right? The third post isn't Denise Matthews. It's Dawn liked this post. So it's serving me a post that someone liked in here, but debatably, at least she is my first degree connection. So 3 posts, 2 of them are relevant. So fourth post here, Lisa. I'm following her, so the fourth post is relevant. So we've got 3-to-1 ratio now. However, this is where it gets messy, right? So it's been good for 4 posts, right? Now we're getting served some sort of webinar from LinkedIn. So that's sort of an advertising webinar thing, right? So the fifth post is advertising. So that's a 3-to-2 ratio. The sixth post now is advertising. Look, promoted post. So now we've got a 3-all ratio. So that's 50% is ads. Now we've got a suggested post, right? So LinkedIn's gone, "Oh, I'm bored of just showing you the stuff that you actually want to see. Let me show you something from something completely relevant." So this is suggesting this leadership and management piece. So now with the balance is tipped. So we got a 4-to-3 irrelevant, or it thinks it's relevant, right? And now we've got one that is from my connection as well, right? So now it brings the balance up. So can you see? And now suddenly we've got jobs and promoted. So now they get barreled with another two, right? So here's some jobs and promoted. So it's just in the probably the 10 posts that I showed you there, only 4 were actual my first degree connections. The rest of it is just a load of stuff. And of course, of those first degree connections, I don't know about you guys, but I've connected with so many people that are those 4 people that I had to scroll pretty hard to go and see them. Are they the ones that I really do want to keep a track on and look at, right? And so, apart from actually ringing the bell on certain accounts to be able to get them into my notifications, which you can do. So, in notifications, anybody that you click the bell on, you'll be able to see them and you'll be able to see their posts up here. So, you can see in notifications. You can start to do a little bit of aggregation through going onto someone's profile and actually clicking the little bell item so you can actually see their content. But you may not want to do that because you just get barraged with everything. So, what Sales Navigator allows you to do is solve this problem, to solve and aggregate together your own feed. Okay, so 2 problems there, and then that creates a couple of reasons why we want to do it. So, without further ado, let me jump on to Sales Navigator. So here's Sales Navigator. If you're wondering how you get to it from LinkedIn, there's a button if you subscribe to it top right. You can click on Sales Navigator. There is a 30-day free trial. So you guys can all try it for my favorite number, which is free. And so then it will want to start to charge you, right? Now, when you first come in, you will see a dashboard that looks like this. And this dashboard is a set of alerts that come up based upon lists that you create. So for example, I've got a list in here which are target coaching companies, right? So these are the target companies that we are looking at that we think are potentially businesses that we might want to do business with, right? We also have a leads list, so target coaches, for example, in there. Or if I'm looking to recruit, I've got target South African closer. So I was looking at salespeople out in South Africa. So I followed a number of those and made a list, right? So I can click on this and go, right, these are a number of people that we're currently following and we're checking out their content because they are potential opportunities or people that we feel would be good for our product, services, whatever it is. So you could create a nice list that looks like this. And when I click on that, I'm only seeing their posts, right? So I'm only seeing their content and their feed. And when I look at it, I can go, cool, right. So Andrew here has got some sort of post. So I can go click on it, and on the right hand side, it will show me this piece of content, right? And he's put a nice thing in here talking about his podcast has been heard over 80 different countries across the world. Nice, right? And so this is an opportunity for me to be abundant in Andrew's world, right? And what do I mean by that? Whenever you're trying to sort of cultivate a relationship with potential opportunities on LinkedIn, if you are liking and commenting and being a good community member in and around their stuff, they will then also, by byproduct of seeing you and saying thank you and interacting with you, start to see your stuff, right? And if your stuff is good and targeted towards them, so for example, the type of content that I put out is designed for coaches, consultant, business service sector, business owners. It's interesting. I like to think so. I hope you guys do. You are all here after all. But the whole point is that if you can be abundant in that person's world, then they will start to see you because the algorithm will spike and then they will see your content more often because someone who likes your stuff or replies back to one of your comments will then be served your content. And so I will become one of the four people that's lucky enough to get into Andrew's feed if he is starting to interact with me. And it's true, new connections get that kind of leg up, and also people that are interacting with each other get that leg up. That is important, right? So what do I do here? I go, Andrew, I've got a nice comment here. So I can scroll down and I can like and I can comment really quickly. And here's the cool thing, right? And hopefully I'm not going to lose you guys here. But if you wanted to, you could create a custom AI, so a custom commenting AI, which is, ooh, it's not a real comment, but I could create a ChatGPT thing to be able to comment on this. So if I wanted to, I could just take a screenshot like this and screenshot this post like this, and then go over to ChatGPT, and I've created a commenting companion, and I can go into that into more detail, which I will do. I can click start here on my commenting companion, and it's going to say, hey, why don't you put a LinkedIn post up here? I can paste that LinkedIn post like that, and press return, and it's going to give me a few different options for commenting on it, right? And so here you go. I've got a shorter, reflective, incredible milestone, Andrew. Proof that thought leadership really insights do travel far. And then I've got a little bit of a longer one, and then a deeper insight with an engagement, which basically means with the question, right? Has Andrew? I'm interested. Yeah, perfect. So I like, by the way, something that asks a question in the comments because then if they reply back, then you are talking and your engagement, right? So let me go back to Sales Navigator and I can quickly just go dump this in the chat. And this is great when someone has a really long post, by the way, because you don't even have to read it. You can just copy and paste it in. And normally the answer, the comment comes back and actually gives you there. Now, I do like to read them because actually I am trying to genuinely have a relationship with this person. So it is good, but if you're doing it at volume or if you're outsourcing it, then this sort of stuff can be really great because you can train the AI to talk in your voice and then the comments come in your voice. Anyway, I'm going deep there. But I hope you can see here. So I love seeing how this is scaled, Andrew. I've been interested in any unexpected countries or listeners that have surprised you on the way. Nice, right? Easy. And then I don't just like, I will give a different one to a like because it will ping up. And the reason why, look, everybody else has liked it, but just Richard has celebrated, right? There you go. So now we hit a comment, bam. So as I'm prospecting, this can work really well. And if I wasn't connected with him, I can also then send a message. And I'm the only person that actually sent that message. So he's probably going to see me and he's going to connect and he's going to talk to me, right? Nice. Can you see how actually this gives me the power? And if I'm only spending half an hour a day on LinkedIn, it's so much easier for me to spend my half an hour just going through this list, get straight on to Paul. I can go on to him and have a chat now. And I don't have to actually always do a copy paste. I can just do this like that and then just chuck it into my GPT. And then I can go new one, bam, like that. And then it's going to give me another three options for this one. And then I'll be able to take that. So fantastic. Um, yeah, perfect. And when I normally do this, because a lot of people just do nice and short calls to go insightful, and I might just do something short like that. That alone is staggering. Hey, job done. I've messaged. I'm the only one. Look, and so I am showing up. I'm the only commenting, right? And it's just interesting. And so you think about, well, actually, how does Richard then start to train this chat GPT? And I'm going to give you a little insight on that, guys. Um, Creating a custom GPT within chat GPT is as if you're paying for it, you can jump in and you go to my GPTs like this, and you can go create a GPT. You press this button and it asks you to put these instructions in. So if I go back to my commenting assistant. And look, I've got loads of different GPTs that you can do here. But if I kind of show you and edit it in here, it can just as simple as you saying, hey, this is the type of instructions. I like this type of linguish. I don't like to say this. I want a short version, a medium version. I want a deep insight. I want this. Don't use this. And in fact, if anybody is into this, I'll just chuck this into the chat. Flora, could you nick this out the chat as well and put it with a replay for everybody? So if anybody's watching this on replay, they can have this GPT example. Oh, damn it, I can't actually put it into the chat. Let me do it in two option. Let me do it in two bits. So one bit there, and this is only people that are, well, I mean, anybody can play with this, but if you are language, here we go, get rid of that. I think there you go. So you got two bits in there. So it's just some instructions for the GPT. So if you've done that before, that might be of assistance to you. And then what you can do is you can upload knowledge files and you can start to build out knowledge files, right? So if I go example LinkedIn comments by Richard, so what I mean by this is you can start to actually train it to say, yes, this is what I want, but actually here's a knowledge file. So if I did a comment on this, so this was my small little comment. I can actually then stick that down as a part of my knowledge file and go and get this guy's link to this post. Just show it. Look, this is just, remember, absorb this, guys. This might be the bit that goes a little bit too deep, but hey, we're not worried about that too much. And here we go. I get the link to this post like this. Copy the link, go on to my comments, and then post that on. I always get everything after the question mark because that's the share bit. The actual post is in front of it. Press comment like this. And now what I'm doing is I'm just building out a bank of replies that I've actually taken from the AI, done a little tweak of mine, and putting it into this document, which I then go onto the GPT and I upload the file, and you then just upload the knowledge bank file like this, and then bam, it will add it in and keep on updating it and updating it and updating it. All right, cool. That bit was like a little zoom in. Let's zoom back out from the GPT. You can just do a normal comment, of course, back in the normal way of just commenting. So you would then keep on going. So can you see how the feed and my time is massively optimized to go, here's the people I want to interact with, here's my target accounts. And actually, when somebody, for example, Angela, becomes a client, I can then actually unsave her from this and I can then move her into another list, which is my customer list, and I can then have my clients. So if I go on to another alert piece in here, so I can look at all alerts. So instead of target coaches, I can then go on to another lead list, which might be clients, and then these are clients that we've got on here, and then I can actually start to connect and message and like support my clients and see what they're up to as well, and add them in. So that's really nice, and you can keep on working in that way as well. So an aggregated feed, one of the cool ideas. The next idea is around this leads list, right? So when we think about leads, we want to go deeper and actually use a bigger set of search filter criteria. So you can start to see here all of the cool things that you can look at. So we can actually look at things like what's their company headcount and how many people are in it. So we can actually do that search in there. So I can say, well, actually, I only want to work with people of 1 to 10, 11 to 50. They're my people. And then I want to go and actually think about where their company headquarters is, for example, or what function are they in? You know, are they in sales or are they in marketing or are they in finance, right? So what's their company function? Or their job title, so we can get individual specific job titles if we wanted. Or what I tend to do is seniority level. So if I go, well, actually, I want to have only the owner and partner, I can do that. Or if I actually want to have the owner and partner and also the C-suite of people, I can choose that, or just the directors. Or if I want the owner and partner and the C-suite, but I don't want any other director, I can actually exclude that by excluding those, right? So I only getting the senior people. So you can start to play them out with, I want that, but I don't want that. You can see how many years they've been in their current position. So you can do less than 1 year. So if you want someone who's just started a new job because you're trying to get in with a new supplier, you can do that, right? So that's really cool. You can look at industry sector and say, well, actually, I want to work with the people in financial services, but I want to exclude chiropractors. Not that that would be very relevant, but the point being is that you don't need to in this example, you wouldn't need to exclude chiropractors because they're not so relevant. But you might say, I want to work with people who are business coaches, but I want to exclude sports coaches. So it just means that the coach word doesn't start to straddle those two phrases. So actually, it gives us a really nice list of people in here. Now, the other cool thing is around groups. So if you want to just target people in a specific group on LinkedIn, that can be done because you can go and search for groups and you can find people here. Now, you need to be part of the group to be able to search for it, but you can find the people that are in that group. Now, why is this cool? Well, you cannot search for gender on LinkedIn. So if I only wanted to work with female founders who are in the UK and were part of your own financial services businesses, I could do all of that except for the female part. So how would you solve it? Go onto all of the groups on LinkedIn and join all the women in business groups, women owners, women founders. There's so many groups that are female focused. Join all of those and then add them all into the group piece. And then bada bing, you're going to get all your female founders out. Nice. So it's just using a little bit of the kind of thinking about it, sort of hacking the system a little bit, but you definitely can. Okay. Lovely jubbly. Um, and then there's a few other things I just want to kind of draw your attention to, which I really like in here. The change jobs. So this is an update. So the change jobs in the last 90 days. So if they've changed jobs in the last 90 days, you can do that. So that's great if you're going for employees or whatever. But I love this one, which is posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. And I tend to do all of my searches based upon this. Why? Because these people are live and doing stuff on LinkedIn. And so if I know that I can only connect with 100 people a week, which is about LinkedIn's limit, to be fair with Sales Navigator, you can probably push that to about 150 people a week. LinkedIn gives a little bit more lenient to more connection requests if you're using Sales Navigator, but it's still only 150 people per week that I actually can send connection requests to. And so if I'm getting a search back that's something like this, 7,000 people, well, they might as well make sure that those 7,000 people are exactly the right target audience for us. So are they right target audience and are they actually on LinkedIn? Are they live? Are they going to receive that connection request? Are they going to be posting? Are they going to be commenting back? Am I going to be able to build that relationship? Or did they set up an account 2 years ago when they were changing jobs and never go back to it now until they have to go change jobs again, right? And so that's a wasted connection. So that is a really useful function on this for this, right? Cool. And then, of course, just the final thing I'll show you on here, and then we'll talk about some questions and some other kind of ideas around it. But this annual revenue piece, I can actually go right in pounds. I want to know anybody that's 0 to 500,000 and add that. Why is that important for me? Well, at Million Dollar Sprint, we help businesses go from some revenue to 1 million in revenue, right? And so there's no point me working with anybody that's over 1 million. So I might as well work with that. So this is a really nice search criteria for me. And then I can look at the same company headcount. And the nice thing about this is it just means that I can actually exclude if I wanted to. So there is self-employed. Oh, actually, it's not in there. There is a self-employed one on the other side. I can actually exclude the self-employed and just have that. If I wanted to, I don't. That's not one of my things, but you could do that. And so it works really nicely in terms of the leads that come from the actual the company based upon the company revenue, etc. And there's another one in here that you might want to look at is things like technology use. So if you're trying to sell software, you can actually see if they use Salesforce, and you can actually then be able to see what technology they use. Same with are they part of the Fortune 500? A bit more US that, but you can go a little bit more detailed on that. So, guys, as you can see here, there is plenty of opportunity to make your time far more focused by having one, Sales Navigator, but two, having a really good search of detailed people, and three, just spending your half an hour a day optimized in the most important way, which is through this, right? So that's probably all the elements that I wanted to discuss for the time being. And obviously, time-wise, we want to leave some time for questions. So let me just kind of bubble up into the surface and just say, hey, I hope that has been of assistance. Thoughts, feedback, questions, experience. Um, Sarah here. Quick question. There are two of us who need access to this in our business. Will we need a Sales Navigator subscription each? Yes, you would do. So it comes with your LinkedIn account. So there's two of you. So if you are both working the lead generation, you will need to both have Sales Navigator. The point being is you probably don't necessarily have to have Sales Navigator. It's not it depends on how much work you're both doing within it. Would depend on how you're going to work. And if you were going to do it that way, I would have one of you working a certain demographic, so maybe one industry sector. So one of you's working financial services and the other one's working, human resources or something along those lines. And so there's a definitive kind of gap between the two, and then you can hire into it, would be my example to you. Um, so Les is saying, would you discuss exporting list data from LinkedIn? Okay, Sales Navigator does not allow you to just download a spreadsheet of all the people that you've just searched. However, there is a hack to be able to do this, and it's through uploading your Sales Navigator searches into another software called Expandy. So here's Expandy here, which is like a LinkedIn automation tool. So here's the other cool thing. Once you know that you are got a great list, you can then start to automate this whole feed. Hold on for your horses here, guys, because we're gonna go deep on this, and then I can show you the tool for doing it. Um, I'll get the whiteboard of truth and justice out, and we can go play on here. Oh, there's classic Blue Peter version. That's one I made earlier. Here we go. Get rid of this. Right. So if you are trying to do some sort of automation piece, right? What we want to be able to do is have a great list. Oh, hello, use the pen. We want to have a great list. So in awareness, we want to have a great list of people, and we want to move those people into something called consideration. So that's actually getting them into something where they're doing or consuming you, and then get them into convert. That's the sales meeting, right? So we've got a sales meeting. So we want to take people from awareness to consider to convert, right? And so if we're using a sales navigator search, it means that these people have been on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. They're the right turnover of company. They're the right headcount of the company, the right seniority level. It's like a really A star list, right? So it's worth the time. Now, if we then can put this into some sort of automated connection message, so we're sending 20 connection requests a day, so that's the 100 a week, right? So the 20 connection requests a day could be, hey, Susie, how's things in this crazy upside down world? Thought I'd connect, right? And so that's just a nice generic connection request. So if you're doing it manually, you've got to copy and paste that 20 times. So if you can automate that daily, it means that you can push this entire list into some sort of automated connection message. You'll go connect with those people, and when they do connect, you can then send them a series of messages saying, hey, I've got this free webinar, I've got this great ebook, I've got this cool newsletter you should come to. and we're trying to get content to them to consume. And when they do consume that, then these things have call to actions into, oh, hello, that's the CTA, into some sort of value session, sales meeting, some sort of one-to-one in here, right? Now, here's the cool thing. If you use something like Expandy, not only can you get this, put a Sales Navigator search directly into that automation, but this can be automated, the connection request, the messages can be automated, and then because you've got these webinars and stuff that might be an evergreen webinar, or you might have an ebook download or something like that that is all sitting there ready to go, that's all automated. So before you know it, everybody's going through this nice feed, and then you're just getting sales meetings dropping out. So you put new data in the top, you get sales meetings dropping out if you can get it nicely set up and the people who go through it really value the consideration and want to do it. So something like Expandy, which we do a training on within Million Dollar Sprint, within Million Dollar Sprint, within LinkedIn for Breakfast. So if anybody's not within this school community, this is the client group. Let me just get you onto the LinkedIn for Breakfast group. I didn't share this at the beginning of today. That's unusual for me. So this is the LinkedIn for Breakfast school community in here. And in this community, I've got a training on how to automate all of this stuff. So if you go into the classroom and you can then go and look through this, and we have the Sales Navigator deep dive, and then we also have, oh, do we not have the automation training on there? Oh, we will do in replays. So you go into replays, and in here at the bottom, if we go down to here, we'll have where LinkedIn automation. Here you go. I can even just stick it in the LinkedIn automation. Ah, look at that, Flora. The video's not up there. We will find another one because I do the same one. Let's try and solve that. Here you go, LinkedIn automation. There we go, perfect. So in here, that's the LinkedIn automation that teaches people a little bit more about this automation piece that I'm going to show you. I've put that into the chat now. So Expandy is a great place to be able to look at your campaign and be able to grow what you're doing, to be able to grow a search and do these campaigns. So if we go on to, I need to go into all my LinkedIn accounts, get rid of that, go into me. Here we go. There we go, great. So you can go into searches and I can put a Sales Navigator search into here. So I can go add new search, I can go say Sales Navigator search, and I go get the URL to the LinkedIn Sales Navigator search. So I simply go to here and I go to leads, and I can go find one of those saved searches that I did. So that HR search that I was just giving the example on, I can go to here and it will show me these people. Here's the search. And this search, I've got 1,000 people in here, will have this URL at the top. So I copy this URL like this. I go over to Expanding. I paste this in, and then I can go press next, and I can then just give it a name. So HR, search or whatever it is, press confirm, and it will find all those people. So it will take a second to go find it. So I can show you one here. So this is us targeting people in New Jersey, America. And so this shows me that we've got 1,517 people who are coaches and founders of businesses in New Jersey, USA. So I can export all of these people. I can email it to myself as a CSV file, and it will then download those people, and it will give me their names, their emails, their phone numbers. It will give me all the raw data. If they've given on their contact info, if they've got their email on it, it will have scraped all of that. So now I've got a nice spreadsheet where I can actually then start to use that for outreach or whatever I want to do with that spreadsheet. So that's cool. The other cool thing about this is I can also go to my network here, and in my network, I can then look at people who are my contacts, and then I can also then go business coach. So I can look at my first degree connections that are business coaches, and it will give me a nice list of them. So 568 here, and then I can press export, and I can also export my current connections. So you can just do all of your connections, or you can filter your current connections and export your connections. So then you can start to send them emails and do other stuff with that spreadsheet. So again, that's a really nice, cool tool. Um, Good stuff. Les says, I'll take a look at Expandy. Is it your favorite number? And yes, well, I say it's not my favorite. It doesn't stay my favorite number. There is a trial that you can have. There, I've got actually a link that gives you an extended free trial of it, which I can just stick in the chat for you now. Just give me 2 seconds and I can give you an extended free trial of it in a second. Here we go. So I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. So let me just send this across. So if you go through there, that gives you an extended free trial. Um, so Graham Rose says, is there any GDPR considerations of the work Expandy allows? Oh yeah. I mean, remember, whatever I teach you, this is light entertainment with Richard in the morning. You shouldn't do any of this stuff. It's naughty. And if you the GDPR piece is this, right? So I can't give you any advice on that. That's completely down to you. So here's the thoughts on this, right? These people, Expandy is going to LinkedIn to a search and it's going to find a search criteria of people who have got that link that says contact info in their profile. And so if someone, and so let me just kind of show my working, I think GDPR has a lot to do with it's like your maths exam, isn't it? You get 1 point for getting it right and 1 point for showing you're working. So if I'm going to look for someone, okay, so let's go on to here and I've done a search and it's given me some people on my search and I go on to, let me just go on to that search that we did before, coach and founder. It's given me a nice list of people in here. So these are the people that I want to go and connect with. So then I go on to Karen here and I jump onto her profile and I go onto here and I click contact info because I think I'd like to contact her. And then she's on this example, she's only giving her website. And so she, when we do the scrape, will not have an email address against her name. But if we go onto someone else's profile and go onto their contact info, so let's have a look at Amanda, and we go, all right, let's go and contact Amanda, go into contact info, and or she's given a website. Oh, they're playing hard to connect. They're playing hard to email, aren't they? So I guarantee you'll go through a few of these and you will find people. Let's just go to the third one down. Contact info, and go on. Don't let me down. Oh, he's let me down as well. You will find many people. It's about 30% of that scrape will have email addresses, and that's because people are publicly putting those email addresses on there. If he hasn't done, then it's not going to be there, and that will be the wild. So I'm gonna risk it for one more, just without wanting to look completely silly. Eleanor, go on. See, don't let me down. Ah, she's gonna let me down, isn't she? Ah, my aorta. So many people will have their email addresses on there. You just have to take my word for it because that's where it comes from. And it's just simply a case of if it's publicly available, it will find it. And then if you're sending a message to those people, then you are introducing yourself. I'm not telling you to subscribe to those people. You shouldn't just go scrape it and then stick them into your email list and subscribe them. You should send an individual outreach message to them. If you are sending connection request messages, then that is fine because you are just sending a set of connection messages to people asking to connect, and it's up to them if they connect. And so that's entirely down to them. So, guys, I'm answering a few more questions so I can see a few more in here. I'm more than happy to answer a few more questions. I'm just conscious of time. Before you go, if any of you want to have a further discussion around some of this LinkedIn stuff and how it might apply to you, particularly things like Sales Navigator, and also looking at how you've set up your LinkedIn based on your LinkedIn profile, what your strategy is for LinkedIn, we offer a free LinkedIn profile audit where we'll actually go through one-to-one with you and look at where are you now? What sort of things can you add? What you're missing? How can we help? And it's totally free, and you'll come out with a load of practical ideas. As I say, it's one to one. So let me just put that link in the chat. Do jump onto there. We only have a few limited spaces each week that we offer up. So if I put that into the chat now, jump onto there now. You'll see they're in here. So we're going to look at your headline effectiveness. We're going to look at your profile and banner. We're going to look at how you're maximizing recommendations on your profile. We'll look at the lead generation strategy. That's also goes into the Sales Navigator stuff, and actually how you explaining your experience on there, and actually are you utilizing all the experience section. And so you can jump onto here. Look, we got one today. If you can jump on that this evening. So, and we got a few slots for US clients, hence why there's a few in the evening. So there's another one there tomorrow, but that's the only one for tomorrow. And then on Friday, we got some nice availability on Friday. So not masses, but it gives you some options in there. And I think come next week, there should be potentially a few more during the day. So do check out those in there. Yeah, so we got some coming on Wednesday as well there. So yeah, do please jump in. They are certainly worthwhile, those LinkedIn profile audits, and to get that booked in. Great. Going to answer a few more questions. So we've got just to double check. I was told Sales Navigators does give your email addresses. Are you saying that it's not the case? You need to go to the individual profile to extract the email address. No, it doesn't. Sales Navigator does not give you everybody's email address. It just doesn't. You can find it if it's there, but they would have to have done it. So if we look at David here, and we go click on his address or him, it's going to pop up his profile like this, and it's going, so I'm just going to look at this. It's the first time I viewed him, and I've got contact info, and he's only got his website on there. He hasn't got, by the looks of things, his email on there. So no email for him. Whereas if he had put it on there publicly available, you can get it. So it is considerate of things like the GDPR. That's the whole point of it, right? Same with Sandra in here. Hey, finally we got one. Sandra, thank you so much, right? So she's got her email address, so we can see all three here. And so she's got an emailer there, her website, her social, so we actually can then get that. So if we did the scrape, then obviously we would have got all of that automatically, but it's in there, a business email, so we can work on it. Cool. Okay. I hope that helped. Further questions, guys. Feel free to unmute if I've missed you because I'm running a few, I'm doing demos and all the rest of it, so it's a bit difficult to do everything at once. Do unmute yourself and ask the question if you got one. Jan says, would you recommend putting your email on your profile? Yeah, like it's a six of one, half dozen another. So you will get people approaching you and saying, hey, would you like to buy some stuff? But you will also have it's an easy way for people to contact you if you are trying to get information. Dawn, over to you.
I did type it, but hopefully I'll remember it word for word. Um, you mentioned obviously doing the scrape and you've got your outreach. You're still only limited to the 100 connections per week, I think, even though you've got Sales Navigator, right? So the question from that is, so do you send your 20 connections and do your outreach like per day, or do you send, how do you do your connection and or do you do 100 connections and then do your messaging afterwards?
Yeah.
What's
So
best?
so it's around it's around how you're setting it up. So with Sales Navigator, you can probably push it to about 150 a week because you get a little bit more wiggle room.
Right.
But you basically just set yourself a target. So say you're going to do 30 a day for 5 days, you get your 150 that way. Um, I would be doing I'd be so I do it through automation, right? The
Yeah.
connection crest because it works. But if I wasn't, I would be going on to Sales Navigator and I'd have my target lead list and I'd work through and I'd just send the connection to all those people. And at the same time, I'd also be doing the engagement on their content because if I get a connection request from someone who has also been posting on my comments and commenting with me, the likelihood of acceptance of that connection is going to be far higher. And then when I go and follow it up with another message, then that message also is going to, yeah, hopefully be responded in the DMs. And so it's around just doing everything you can to be able to increase the likelihood of success. So if I know that for every, 500 connections that I make, I get 10, decent appointments of which I close three people into a sale. Great. Then Sales Navigator is totally worth the investment because I'll be able to
Yeah.
get through that and make those connections faster and quicker, and it'll work so much better. And it's that. So when I think about what would I do with my half an hour a day that I would put out for LinkedIn, it's about trying to make it as easy as possible for me to get a great result from that half an hour a day, which using a tool like this can be great. And if you think about what the cost is over a month, you're talking about a couple of quid a day is what actually the Sales Navigator cost is, but you're spending time every day doing it, so you might as well equip yourself with the best tool.
So to add to that, then you're sending the connection request, then
Yeah.
you're engaging, and then there's a delay before you DM. Is that right?
Well, the connection request will have a DM with it. And
Okay.
so therefore I've got to wait for them to reply before I send the next one, or I wait a certain amount of days and then I'll follow it up.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. So do these sort of questions, guys, if you haven't done yet, do jump in and book one of those sessions. Thank you to the people who already have. We've already had a number of people. My phone goes off when I get the booking. So thank you. And we're looking forward to doing those LinkedIn profile audits for you. If you haven't, the link is in the chat now. That's the last time I post the link there. So if you don't get it and click it and have it open on a different tab so you can book it in, you'll miss it. So do click on that and book into one of those profile audits. Great, guys. I'm happy to take a final question if anybody's got one, if I've missed you. Yes. Is it Lubuna?
Lubna,
Lubna.
thank you,
Welcome.
thank you, and thank you for that, Richard. It's a very good session. I mean, actually, a couple of questions. First of all, I've had a lot of people send me emails on an email address that is really mainly used for LinkedIn, and I know they found my email address through LinkedIn. I always thought that was through Sales Navigator. So you're now saying that's not the case.
Just go on to your well, let's should we go find you? So I will be able to see, and it might have been, by the way, that you took it back off again, but you found yourself you were on a list already.
Mhm.
Do you know? So it's so if we go onto here and it's contact info on your profile here, and then it will be when it loads. This is it. This email, the BT
Oh
interview
God,
email.
yes, I need to remove this.
There
Thank
you go.
you.
Yeah. So
But
you
I,
you would have been a great example about 5 minutes ago. Where were
yes.
you, my life?
But my main question though is that if we send a contact request, as somebody who doesn't have Premium or Sales Navigator, I have to wait three weeks, I think, before I can send it again. So with Sales Navigator, does it allow you a shorter period? Thank you.
So what if they don't accept it? I think it's about the same for those. A lot of people will not be able to send a bespoke message when they send the message. So one of the problems that you have with Sales Navigator is you or not having Sales Navigators, you can only send about five actual message notes when you actually send a connection message. Whereas with Sales Navigator, every connection message you send, you can add a note. So that's one of the benefits. But in terms of the lag between when you can resend it, I think it's the same. Just purely because people don't go onto LinkedIn every day. So it's that lag is kind of there for a reason.
Thank you.
Um, no worries. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thank you all so much. And if you are $1 Million Sprint and you're here for our bonus extended drop-in clinic based upon this, I'm going to close this room down and I'm going to reopen it. and then do jump in. If you are LinkedIn for breakfast and have or haven't booked one of those profile audits, we'll either see you on the profile audit, which is looking forward to do, or we'll see you next week at 9 a.m. for another slice of LinkedIn for breakfast action. Thank you all. Have a fantastic week, and I hope that's been of assistance. Big love. Take care. See you on the flip side.
Thank you, Richard.